Katie.
Joe Biden's hit rock bottom. It's not because of his latest train wreck approval numbers or his stumble. Kamala is now more popular than Joe Biden. The approval rating of our word salad spewing VP is at 35%, which is a hair better than her boss, who clocks in at 34%. It's no wonder our VP has had a little extra spring in her step. Looks like she had a pretty good time at Howard University's Celebration Bowl game.
Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, but also a very proud graduate of Howard University.
A very proud vice. I'm here to cheer on my team.
Can I say our team when she's around? Can I say our team?
Yes, we can.
I don't know about all of that.
And as Joe Biden bottoms out, a new report claims that his aides are worried about his age and energy levels. But Dr. Jill has the prescription to get his mojo going again. It's not that. The First Lady trying to get her husband to eat better, rest more, and travel less.
She is very involved in making sure that he gets enough rest. She's also been pushing him on his diet, trying to get him to eat more fish and salmon and a little bit less junk food.
What? Less junk food. All right. Dana, Joe just took a 4-day weekend, but he really wants to travel more.
I'm not sure how he could travel less. I mean, perhaps if he doesn't take the 30-second commute from the East Wing to the West Wing, he could cut down on some travel. I don't get this, actually, because something's happening. I think that the White House has realized that his numbers are solidifying in the 30s, in the low 30s. And once you get to that point, it's very hard to get out of it. It's also possible that the White House and campaign team has specifically put this into the news cycle to give a heads up to the donors and the party faithful to say, look, we get it. We're working on it. No problem. Or there are now leaks within a very tight White House. But I think it's the former. I think that they want everyone to know that Dr. Jill is on it. She's going to make sure that he's okay and that he can go the distance. The thing about Kamala Harris is that perhaps her 17th staff turnover and makeover has finally helped a little bit. I mean, that might be the case. He is in pretty bad shape. This image of him is solidifying in the people's mind. And once you get to that point, it's hard to break apart concrete.
Katie, do you think it's Kamala's rise or Joe's descent that's created this imbalance?
I don't think she's really rising. They're both in the low 30s. And this poll is actually kind of an outlier. She's usually like in the high 20s, even lower 30s in terms of her approval. But the bottom line is, like, they're going to have a very hard time over the next year trying to change the realities of what is making them unpopular. So they keep trying to say inflation is going down. But don't worry, the Inflation Reduction Act, which isn't working, is working to fix this problem. They're not going to get some big legislative deal over the next year that they can really run on and to win. And so now they're turning to things, again, like, don't worry, we're working on junk fees. People don't like junk fees, but they don't like high prices at the grocery store even more. And so they're running out of options in terms of turning the boat around for big accomplishments just based on the makeup of what's happening on Capitol Hill and the issues that are plaguing them that take time to turn around and a reversal of a number of policies that they've been championing over the last 3 years.
Harold, do you agree that it's too late for the White House to turn things around?
I don't think it's too late. I don't dismiss these numbers. I don't dismiss or belittle the fact that the White House, as I shared last week and we've talked about, I don't think that there's if there is a strategy, I don't know what it is. And it seems to me that one of the things that you would want to be talking about, Dana knows this as well as any, is summing up your achievements and saying how your achievements are going to help you accomplish even more over the next 4 years. I could write one here. They don't need to listen to me, but I'd say we're building more things in America, including chips and refrigerators and cars and prescription drugs, so we don't have to be dependent on others. 2, we invest in our infrastructure, and even Republicans and some, I don't think any Democrat didn't vote for, but people who didn't vote for the bill are bragging about it when money comes to their districts. We're protecting women's health rights. Inflation is coming down. Unemployment is at record lows, and the stock market seems to be setting record highs. They could say it a little more passionately, and for that matter, repeat it over and over and over again and say, if I'm given 4 more years, this is what I would do. If you just sit back and you just look at these numbers and you talk about things that are not relevant to the American people, the numbers are going to continue to persist.
What Harold seems to be saying is that Hunter should give his dad a line of cocaine.
That's exactly what Harold was saying. Yes. It is weird, though, when you mention all those metrics, why isn't it translating in people's lives. Something's going on that we don't know. Kamala Harris, more popular than Joe Biden. That's not saying much, right? Here are 3 things that are more popular than Joe Biden. Gangrene, getting hit in the face with a hammer, and Brian Kilmeade. But you mentioned this to Katie. Kamala has been playing the long game. She didn't have to improve. She knows that even if she stays put, Joe would degrade like a sliced avocado in the sun. It's like why I hang out with Dana. I look taller because she's shorter. Kamala fails up every time Joe falls down. She's like the dumb student who gets by because the teacher grades on a curve, but there's only 2 people in the class, and one of them, his breakfast is embalming fluid. He can't rest anymore unless he checks into Forest Lawn. But the big question is, if they unload Joe, and I think they will, who gets Kamala? It's like when a couple splits up, who gets the cat? Except no one wants the cat. They need to have a rescue shelter for politicians because she can't stay on the ticket with or without Joe. She only has one fan, and that's Dan Quayle saying, thank you, thank you.
Wait a second. They wouldn't jam Kamala onto a ticket with Gavin Newsom, you're saying?
Oh, I don't think so, because that would be an accusation of
Talk
racism.
about a cat fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here for that.
They're also both from the same state, so I'm not sure that they could. But let's talk
Is there a
about
constitutional argument? Because I really don't care. Coming up, Eric Adams just said something about New York City that will shock you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.